Well, it's not every day in the media world we can catch up with one of our own state's finest athletes and success stories. You may know him as number 4 from the Valley City Highliners, 6'1" sharpshooter. Some call him a sniper back in his days. McDonald's All-American, Mr. Basketball, 1998, none other than Jeffrey Allen Boschee. Jeff Boschee, now the head coach of the Missouri Southern State University Lions, 23-7 this season. He sat down and caught up with Jeff after his regional win over Washburn University. Jeff, little nail biter there, but you got it done.
Well, we did. I thought we did. The first part of the game, we played well, and got to give them a lot of credit. They made us panic on the defensive end, and we didn't handle their pressure very well, and kind of affected us in the half court offense. But a couple times down there we made some big shots, and every time we made a big shot they answered it. So I expected a little bit of a run. I didn't expect that, but they're a good basketball team with very good basketball players, and we just had to survive, and that's what it's all about at this time of the year: survive and advance.
Right, Missouri Southern out of Joplin, Missouri now. And Jeff, you've been there since 2014 as the head coach and also named Coach of the Year in 2018. Tell us a little bit about, since leaving, of course, Kansas, what you've been doing and get us up to this point, up to speed.
Well, I played overseas for a little bit in some minor leagues in the States. Did that for a couple years, and it really wasn't for me, and just living out of a duffel bag all the time, and I knew I wanted to get into coaching, and I started off as a volunteer assistant at Blue Valley Northwest High School under Ed Fritz. Was there for a couple years, and was fortunate to get a head job at the Barstow School, a private school in Kansas City, and was there for 3. And then Coach Korn, my former boss at Missouri Southern, had an opening on his staff, and I was able to get the spot, and we had some successful years, and Coach decided to retire after my 4th year, and then I got the head job and been here this is my 5th year. But it's been a fun ride. It's stressful, but it's a good stress, I think, and it keeps you alive a little bit. To me, it's better than sitting behind a desk, and it's just a way for me to compete and stay around the game of basketball.
Great, and we love seeing you still in the game, and a nice win today, 1-point win over Washburn. Moving on in the Region 2 tournament here. And let's take you back to your youth. Brother Mike had a big influence, I know, early on. And talk about some of those coaches in your youth, the Mike Hendricksons of the world, and things that got you to this point, of course, playing for Roy Williams now at North Carolina.
Well, first of all, it starts off with my brother. He's the one that got me involved in the game, and watching him growing up, playing in high school, and then, playing at the University of North Dakota and taking me up there for weekends and staying in the dorms and things like that. He taught me everything, not necessarily about basketball, but about life too. Kind of a second dad to me, and it's when I moved on, the high school ranks. Coach Crochet was my freshman coach, and sometimes that time of the I guess that era, it was tough for freshmen to play varsity, and kind of frowned upon a little bit. And he had the courage to play a freshman and to start a freshman. And I went through 3 coaches at Valley City. That was a tough part. And each coach did great things for me with Hendrickson and Suko, and those guys were great, just building my character and helping me along the way until I got to Kansas, and Coach Williams took over. But Coach Williams is really the main reason why I got into coaching, and I admired him and wanted to be like him. And when I knew probably the NBA was out of question, probably my junior year, it's something that I nailed down and really paid attention to the things that he did when I was playing.
Great, and you mentioned Brother Mike being the big influence and also playing at UND. Tell us a little bit, if you remember the trip Kansas took up to UND and what that meant to come home to some of your fans and your faithful back in North Dakota.
Well, I think the biggest thing is just the blizzard that they had. And I remember flying in there, and then our guys had to take a bus all the way back, and that was a tough part because we, everybody was planning on flying out of Grand Forks or Fargo, and they had to take a bus because they couldn't get out of there. But it was a huge, warm reception, and selling out the Ingolstadt Arena, and just it was fun to see a team like ourselves, Kansas, come up and play in front of the fans of North Dakota, and couldn't be more appreciative of the support that the people of North Dakota showed me throughout my career. And I still hear stories to this day of people, still Jayhawk fans and that never were Jayhawk fans before I went down there, and they still follow the Jayhawks quite a bit.
Absolutely. That leads into the next question I have for you. Speaking to those youth of North Dakota, and they look up to you to this day. I see a lot of them Kansas fans and Jayhawk and things like that. What are some of the things that you did as a shooter? Of course, you held records at Kansas and Valley City, and to get that shot off so quick, those of us who've guarded you know how quick your trigger was. And what did you do to perfect that?
Well, there's no secret. I mean, it's just it's repetition, and living in the gym. And I was fortunate enough to have a brother who was a really good shooter. And I remember in 8th grade, I called him when he was coaching at Gustavus Adolphus College, and was telling him about how I can shoot from the NBA line now, and he just kind of chuckled and laughed. So we went down there to St. Peter, Minnesota that weekend, and he wanted me to show him this new shot that I had, the crazy thing is, it was a set shot, and it wasn't a good shot, and he basically broke it down and turned me into a jump shooter from right there, and going into my 8th grade, going into my 9th grade year, and for a whole summer, really, I couldn't shoot from outside 15 feet, and I was disciplined enough to do that. And I think the biggest thing with people shooting, it's all about repetition, but you got to be disciplined enough to do it consistently over and over and do it the right way. And a lot of times, guys will come in and shoot the ball, but they won't be in a situation where it's game-like or you're getting tired. And that's another thing. You got to be tired when you shoot the ball, because you can't get in a workout. You can't just go around and shoot and not get tired and expect to be in the game and it to flow in like that. But there's no secret to hard work. It's you just got to get in the gym and do it.
So put the time in, and the bottom line is repetition. Mm-hmm. We like that for our youth in North Dakota. And getting back to North Dakota, do you think it's tougher for North Dakotans to be seen, so to speak? And I know you went to a lot of the camps when you were younger. What are some camps that you would recommend or have kids look to get into camps?
Well, I think first and foremost, when you're younger, trying to go to the University of North Dakota State camps. Camps have been kind of outdated. I think more or less since I've been not necessarily outdated, but they're not as big as the AAU circuit is now. And when I played, we didn't have that. And myself and Nick Jacobson, Tom Jacobson, Travis Kraft, we traveled down to Minnesota and played there. And now they got the opportunity with North Dakota teams to play and. That's one of the biggest things, is just getting out there and playing on those teams and be seen, because I think now day and age with social media and so many scouting services with prep hoops and different things like that, you can get your name out there a lot more than what we could before.
Now into your current position as a head coach of the Lions, what are some ambitions for the future, Coach Boschee?
I don't really have any future ambitions besides just coaching the kids that I've got. I love where I'm at. My wife's family is from the area. If something was to come along that I feel like could better my family, then so be it. But I'm content with where I am. I love our kids. I love the kids that we coach. And there's nothing like being a head coach. It's a stressful situation, but at the same time, you can affect a lot of kids' lives.
Great, and you mentioned your wife, I believe her name is Jamie, and your two beautiful daughters, and doing well here in Joplin. Mm-hmm. And final question for you, Jeff. How much do you think the Jayhawks will beat the Cyclones tonight?
Well, they're playing pretty good. I think both teams are playing pretty good. I think it's going to be a good matchup. But I'm excited that this last two games I watched them. David McCormick has been really good for the Jayhawks, and that's something that they've been missing since Doak left, and kind of puts Lawson more at the 4 spot. And I think if this team can shoot the ball well and defend and continue to get that production out of McCormick, I think this team can make a run at the end.
All right, thank you so much, Jeff Boschee, for your time. Pride of North Dakota, Jeff Boschee. Good luck the rest of this tournament.
All right, man. Thank you.